Over the past few years, robot vacuum manufacturers are trying different ways to improve their products. One aspect they focus on is navigation. To be more specific, obstacle avoidance. Early generation robot vacuums fail in this aspect, often bumping into obstacles hard. Newer robots have improved, but they still struggle with smaller stuff and objects below the laser's line of sight. Then came the Ecovacs T8 AIVI and the Roborock S6 Max V, with front-mounted camera sensors that greatly improve how it avoided smaller objects. However, these cameras have blind spots, which somewhat negates the obstacle avoidance benefit. And this robot vacuum I'll introduce may have solved that puzzle. Hi, welcome back. In this review, we'll look closely at the Dreame L10 Pro. Instead of using a front-mounted camera, it has these 3 lasers in front, and based on my tests, it looks promising. Please note that Dreame isn't the first to have this technology, as Ecovacs was the first brand I've seen with this feature. I'm not sure how Dreame's version is different, but it seems to be a similar technology, as both brands have 3 of these sensors in front of the robot. The use of a laser means it doesn't have to rely on a light source, since lasers don't need light to function, unlike camera sensors, though Roborock's camera seems to have night vision. The L10 Pro is Dreame's second smart robot vacuum with more suction, and airflow tests back up these claims, as the newer L10 has up to 18 CFM of airflow versus the D9's 15.97 CFM. Aside from the front laser sensor and additional suction, everything else remains the same. The L10 uses the same LiDAR sensor. Even the flaps in front of the brush roll are still present. It has the same clip-on bristle-tip side brush, the same top-mounted 570ml dustbin, and the same 270ml electronic water tank. So how good are these 3 front laser sensors? As I've said earlier, I did many tests with different obstacle types of various sizes, and the results were promising. For the most part, it was able to avoid objects completely, stopping before nudging them. One example would be this fake poop. It slowed down and avoided it, not even touching it, which wasn't the case with the Ecovacs T8 AIVI and the Roborock S6 Max V. The same goes with this weighing scale, measuring 0.7 inches tall, way below the LiDAR's line of sight. Again, it avoided it completely by the second pass, after partially climbing over it during the first go-around. This is impressive considering I placed an invisible wall close to it. In comparison, the Roborock S6 Max V wasn't able to avoid the weighing scale close to the invisible wall. To further confirm this, I placed several objects along the edges, and the L10 Pro was able to avoid this shoe and 2 vacuums at the corner, which wasn't the case with the Ecovacs T8. These experiments showed that the new front laser sensor didn't have blind spots, if any, but there's a caveat: it won't completely avoid wires. If you'd seen the advertorials, you'd think that this robot can avoid such, but that wasn't the case in my tests. The issue wasn't the laser sensor, but the side brush. Since the side brush extends past the laser's field of view, an extended wire could get caught on it, and I've noticed it several times. This was also the case in other tests with fake feces, where the side brush nudged against it, but not the robot itself. Overall, I'm impressed by this technology, and though not perfect, it's a step in the right direction in obstacle avoidance technology. LiDAR and SLAM make this robot efficient with navigation. It's similar to Roborock, but with wider turns. Users can set the number of runs between 1 and 2. Also, I noticed Dreame having the crisscross pattern, similar to the one found in the Roborock S7. I like this feature as it helps with thoroughness. The crisscross pattern is also available in the mopping feature, and I'll share later on in this video how it did mopping stains. The slight uptick in airflow improved the T10 Pro's overall cleaning test scores. You can see an increase across the board, except for the deep cleaning test where the D9 is slightly better. One positive with the higher airflow is it picked up more sand on hard floors. Passes were cleaner and didn't leave us much residue. However, it's still a notch below the Roborock S5 Max and S4 Max when it comes to surface debris pickup. I'm not sure if these flaps negatively affect it, since both brands had the same type of brush roll and adjustable brush assembly. You can see in this clip it didn't pick up debris cleanly, leaving a trail. I saw the same issue in the coverage test, where this robot left an obvious trail. Other brands like the Ecovacs T8 AIVI with the same flaps in front of the brush roll have similar issues, but with Ecovacs it picked up more since it has higher airflow. It also did well on carpet, picking up a higher score than the D9, and the eye test confirms these results. However, it struggled with finer debris like coffee grounds because of the lack of agitation. The deep cleaning test confirms the lack of agitation, picking up only 64.75%, slightly worse than the D9, but not far off from the more expensive Ecovacs T8. I also tested the L10 Pro, how well it will resist tangles from both 5 and 7 inch hair strands. It did very well resisting tangles from 5 inch strands with hardly any hair wrapping on the brush, but not so well in the 7 inch test, picking up 54% out of the 1 gram scattered on the surface. The good news is cleaning the brush roll won't be difficult, You don't need a scissor since you can pull out the strands easily. The detachable end caps help in this area at cleaning hair that may wrap around the axles. Edge cleaning is decent. I'd say I'd par with Roborock in terms of debris pickup, but not as good as robots with two side brushes such as the Ecovacs T8 and iLife A10. This robot can also mop floors as it comes with a 270 ml rear-mounted electronic water tank. However, it lacks any sort of agitation and only meant for light-duty mopping. I tested it on red wine and grape juice stains, and it didn't remove the blemishes completely and needed a second run to remove the stains. Nonetheless, it left a sticky residue, which is an issue with most robot vacuum and mop hybrids I've tested so far. So temper your expectations with the mopping aspect as it will not handle large stains well. Like the older D9 model, the L10 Pro is compatible with the Xiaomi app with similar core features. I like how the map management is easily accessible through the main interface, as well as containment features like virtual wall and no-go zones. Users can save up to 2 map levels and add multiple invisible walls and no-go zones on each level. These features are a must-have for any smart robot vacuum in my opinion, and saves time since users don't have to tidy up cords, especially on work-from-home spaces. Selective room cleaning is available so users can pinpoint a room they want cleaned. Room naming is available, but custom names isn't, and only limited to these options. One underrated feature I like is zone cleaning. It's like spot cleaning but with more control. Users can specify an area on the map they want cleaned, and the robot does it. I like using this feature to map specific zones. Runtime will be the same as a D9 at 150 minutes or 2.5 hours in its lowest power mode, but it doesn't have as much usable power in this setting. You'll have to use the strong or turbo setting to clean debris well. However, runtime shouldn't matter much with this robot as it has recharge and resume. Noise levels will vary. This robot is quiet in the 2 lower settings, registering less than 60 decibels in the sound meter, but it gets loud in the 2 higher settings, ranging between 65 and 75 decibels. To conclude this review, the Dreame L10 Pro delivers in the area of obstacle avoidance. It's the best robot I've tested so far at avoiding smaller objects, even stuff way below the laser's line of sight. But the technology isn't perfect. The side brush will nudge into obstacles, and it doesn't completely avoid wires. Vacuuming performance is slightly better than the Dreame D9 with its higher airflow, but it still lags behind Roborock, one of its main competitors. Let me know what you think about the Dreame L10 Pro in the comments section. Links are in the description for more information about this robot. If this video has been helpful to you, consider giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I publish new reviews like this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.